Hi everyone, and welcome to Chronically Jill, the podcast where I, Jillian, also known as the Fibro Rebel online, will tell you all about my life with chronic illnesses, bring you more fun facts about fibromyalgia, and tell you the story of someone's day-to-day life with chronic illnesses. My pronouns are she, her. This is an independent podcast, which I am recording in my kitchen. We have a lot, and I mean a lot of animals and kids, so if there is occasionally barking in the background or other noises, please understand. This podcast can and does contain explicit language, so be forewarned. As this is an independent podcast, I would love it if you supported me on Patreon or Acast. For as little as $2 a month, you can get access to early episodes, ad-free content, merch, and more. If that's not something you're interested in, that's absolutely okay. I'm thankful for your support in just listening, sharing, and subscribing wherever you listen to your podcasts. Today's fun fact about fibromyalgia is brain fog, or fibro fog, which is what we're talking about when we say that we have cognitive difficulties. The common term is brain fog because it actually stems from many different conditions, not just fibro, but we colloquially call it fibro fog because, well, we can, I guess. But for the sake of this podcast, we are going to call it brain fog, so we're not leaving anyone out. This is a good time to throw in the fact that I am not a medical professional in any way, shape, or form. All of the information that I have comes from research that I've done myself, my personal experiences, the experiences of other people, or talking to doctors. Brain fog is usually characterized by lack of focus, forgetfulness, and lack of mental clarity. It can make your thoughts and emotions feel numb, and daily activities, chores, or work may take more effort than normal. Some people describe it as a haze or a fog that makes it difficult to think through or to plan ahead. There are so many examples of brain fog. These are the ones that the internet lists. Forgetting a task, taking longer than normal to complete a simple task, feeling constantly distracted, feeling tired when working, feeling spacey or confused, feeling fatigued, thinking more slowly than normal, being easily distracted, having trouble organizing thoughts, and word-finding difficulties. I hugely struggle with that one. It has caused me so much anxiety over the years. When I struggle to find a word, I stutter. When I stutter, I feel like everyone around me thinks that I'm just an idiot, which is ridiculous. Everyone misspeaks and mispronounces words all the time. Anxiety seriously sucks. When I started making my TikToks, I used to edit out all the times that I misspoke or stuttered. Once I stopped doing that, though, I had so many people commenting about how they do that too and can't find the right words, and they didn't feel so alone anymore. My go-to when I can't find the right word is to loudly yell, "Word!" It definitely helps sometimes. Here's some real-life examples of brain fog from my life. The other day, I went to drop off my kids at school. I drove to the school, drove around the school parking lot, and then drove home. And then I heard a little voice in the back seat go, "Mom, you forgot to drop us at school." They were still in the car. I just totally blanked and did not realize it. I constantly forget that I'm cooking or doing the laundry, and I have to set reminders so that I can finish those tasks. And I always mix up my kids' names and the animals' names and just anyone's names. Not good with names. I have to-do lists and calendars everywhere, or else I will just completely forget appointments or things that I need to do. I still forget them quite often, but it's better with the to-do lists. Anxiety plays a major role in brain fog. When someone is constantly anxious, it takes up an absolute ton, that's the scientific term, I believe, of one's mental capacity. Basically, one needs to use more energy to focus on anything that isn't your anxiety. Most of us know that anxiety comes hand in hand with chronic illnesses. It's so hard to know that you're going to be feeling bad for the rest of your life and not be anxious about it. Other mental health conditions that go hand in hand with brain fog are depression, PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, chronic fatigue, and ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Physical health can also affect brain fog. So what can we do to treat and prevent brain fog? Since it in itself is not a medical diagnosis, there are no treatments for it. But some doctors' suggestions include medication, anti-anxiety and antidepressants, or stimulants for ADHD are suggested. I'm on a few of those, and they have never made a difference for me in the brain fog respect. I really hope they work for some of you, because that would be nice. Therapy or counseling to treat anxiety is also mentioned, and I'm a huge supporter of therapy. I love it so much. So if you have the means to go to therapy, I highly suggest that you do. It's so awesome, and it's not as scary as it seems. You just have to find the right counselor, and sometimes it takes a few to go through, and you got to keep trying. I lost my spot. Okay, time management skills to help stay organized when you know that you struggle with it. Like I said before, I don't know what I would do without my calendars. Adjustments to school or work if you need to take extra time to complete something. And that's obviously as long as your school or work is willing to work with you. And they all should be, but we know that unfortunately, that's just not usually the case. And finally, exercise, deep breathing, and meditation. Like I am going to mention probably millions of times in my life and on this podcast, exercise is not one size fits all. We don't all need to be in the gym daily and jogging or whatever those kinds of people do. It's amazing that they have a body that is capable of that. Those of us who deal with chronic illnesses don't usually have that liberty. Exercise is whatever our bodies are capable of that day. Some days it will be going for a walk or going to the gym. Other days it will be walking to the bathroom or to make a tea. Whatever your day throws at you, just be sure that you are doing your best, and your best is going to be different every single day. Signs that your brain fog is to a point where it should be mentioned to a healthcare provider are if you're constantly forgetting things like paying bills, getting lost in an area that you're familiar with, if you find you can't complete tasks daily, if your memory is getting steadily worse, if self-care interventions do not help, if you experience brain fog more than 50% of the time, or if your anxiety is getting progressively worse despite treatments. I know how scary and frustrating doctors' visits can be, but if you're struggling, please don't delay getting checked out. So many people, including myself, ignore these seemingly small symptoms only to find out later that they're all part of one big bad thing. The more that you could journal your symptoms or the more that you tell your doctor, the better your chances of diagnosis and treatment are. I'm going to take a little break and we will be right back with my interview with Catherine. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a thing up on my screen that I had to tap, so.
Yeah, I'm still super new to figuring all this stuff out, so I have no idea how to do anything.
Okay.
How you doing today?
All right.
Yeah, feeling good? Bad?
Feeling pretty good actually. I'm on gabapentin right now, and it's actually helping me, unlike pretty much every other medication I've ever tried. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah, I had wake up without a shit ton of pain, which is really nice.
Yeah, I know gabapentin is not great for some people, so it's good that it's working for you.
Yeah.
We're close to each other almost.
Yeah, I'm in Victoria on Vancouver Island.
Yeah, I love the island. I would live there if I could.
Yeah, it's really expensive over here.
It is here too.
Yeah.
Like we're way out in the suburbs because that's where we could afford to buy a house, but still it's we've lived in our house for like 2.5 years and it's more than doubled in value.
Oh, wow.
Because everyone's trying to get out of the city, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with just what was the diagnosis process like for you?
Okay, so I started having chronic pain in my early 30s, and I'm 45 now.
I'm sorry, you're 45?
Yes.
I thought you were younger than me. You look younger than me.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm getting up there. So yeah, in my early 30s, and around the age of about 35, I think I got a new doctor, and I started to, tell him about the pain I was having. And he kept saying, I think it's just because you have severe depression. So he wouldn't send me to a rheumatologist, or he did prescribe at one point nortriptyline, which is similar to amitriptyline, which neither of those medications were good for me. So it wasn't until I was 41, I think, so 4 years ago, that I had a new doctor, and I kept, the same thing. Like, I have this chronic pain. Like, I was having pain, like through like my legs, for instance, it hurt just to walk. And I was like, why does it hurt to walk? And she's like, you probably have fibromyalgia. So she finally sent me to a rheumatologist who diagnosed me. But it took like 7 years or something like that, just to get someone to send me to a rheumatologist to get a diagnosis. And then I was referred to a new rheumatologist because I started having joint pain, and he diagnosed me with arthritis.
That's a long time. It's so frustrating, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you said you had a couple other things going on too?
So I also have bipolar disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and then the arthritis, as well as the fibromyalgia.
Fun.
Yeah, so it's a lot going on.
And so do you find that all of those things exist kind of easily together, or like if you're in a flare up, does the other things kick in and get progressively worse? Or?
Definitely if I'm in a flare up, like my mood's going to be lower. Like I'll feel more depressed. My pain has been pretty well managed lately on gabapentin, and I find my moods are a lot better. I feel I'm on 5 medications right now. So 4 of those are for my mental health. We're in the process of trying to very slowly wean me down to see if I can just be on like 1 or 2 instead of 4. So having better moods with less pain, because I usually wake up in a lot of pain, and I keep a heating pad right beside my bed so I can like lie on it right when I wake up. Sometimes I actually just sleep on it. But yeah, it definitely affects my moods. If I'm in more pain, low moods, stay in bed, don't really do much. Less pain, better moods, able to get out for walks, able to like function around the apartment, stuff like that.
Yeah, those are always the better days. Do you live by yourself, or do you have anyone there with you? Or
I have a roommate, and I have my 19-year-old daughter living with me. So, but I do like, have to do my own laundry, and I do most of the chores and my own grocery shopping and stuff like that. So those are challenging things to get done.
For sure. Like, how is it for them living with you with chronic illnesses? Like how does your daughter deal with it?
She's used to it. So like even when she was very young, like I take medication for sleep now, so I sleep through the night and I don't need to take naps during the day anymore. But when she was very young, I used to have to take naps, and she was very good about just quietly playing or watching a movie. Like she's just grown up with it, so she doesn't really know any different.
Yeah, my kids are the exact same way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna have a nap now. Okay, we're gonna be quiet.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's always been really good about stuff like that. And she also has a diagnosis of fibromyalgia, which they say they feel like might have been kind of hereditary or genetic. Like,
yeah, my 10-year-old is seeing doctors for the fatigue and pain all the time and everything.
Yeah.
Like I really hope that it's not that, because
yeah,
I don't want any of my kids to ever have to deal with what I'm going through. But
yeah.
at least they'll have someone that understands if they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is always really nice. So you said you saw like your general practitioner and rheumatologist. Did you see any other doctors with it, or?
I've seen a neurologist. They did some nerve conductive testing, or nerve conduction testing, I think it's called. And they said, because I was having weakness and pain with like my wrists and arms and hands, and they said my nerves were totally fine. Yeah. So, and I currently don't have a GP because I had been living in Nanaimo and moved down to Victoria, and there's no GPs here. I'm on a wait list to see one. So I just use the Babylon app most of the time, but they're actually very thorough and order tests, x-rays, ultrasounds. So I've had all kinds of, sorry, my hand's shaking. I've had all kinds of tests and stuff done. There's something wrong with one of my shoulders. I can't remember what the rheumatologist said it was, but like I couldn't move my arm, and I had to have a cortisone injection, and I still only have about 80% movement of my arm and like chronic pain in my left shoulder.
Fun.
Yeah.
It all just kind of adds on, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're having a good day, what's your day-to-day life look like?
So on a good day, I can get a shower. I can clean the apartment, like take out the trash. Like today I took out the trash, I cleaned the bathroom. I'm going to do laundry later. I can get out for a walk. I use a mobility aid. I use a cane. But when I'm not having a bad flare day, I don't need it, which is really nice. I've had people ask me why I use it. And like I have pain in my hip joints and like just pain in my back, like the achy flu-like pain. And I just find that having a cane just helps, with me being able to get out for walks if I'm having a bad day. Like I'm told I'm supposed to walk every day. And I'm like, it's really hard to sometimes. Like,
yeah, doctors love that. Just exercise, push through it and exercise. And you're like, some days, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But the other day I got out for a 5-kilometer walk. Yesterday was 2 kilometers, but there's days in between where it's like, I can't go out.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure some doctors understand, but I haven't met many that do.
Yeah.
A lot of them have the just push through it mentality.
Definitely.
You can't sometimes, like physically cannot. I use a cane too on certain days.
Yeah.
I switched to a forearm crutch because it's easier to,
That's what I was thinking of getting. Yeah.
Because it has the strap, so I don't have to lean it on something if I'm going to use both hands, like while I'm shopping. And I just find it a little more stable because I kept losing canes because I would just put them down and then walk, and then I would be feeling okay at that moment and I would walk away from them. And then, 10 minutes later, I'm like, I brought my cane today.
Yeah.
And if you're having a bad day, what does that look like?
On a bad day, I usually stay in my pajamas. I have a heated blanket that I put in a papasang chair and I sit on that because I find the heat really helps the pain. I find that I'm like very distracted. I can't focus on like reading or like watching shows even half the time, like because I'm just in so much pain. So I spend a lot of time scrolling on social media or TikTok or stuff like that. I love doing art and painting and being creative, but it's hard to find the time and energy for it. So yeah, bad days are just basically staying home, doing the bare minimum, eating popcorn or cereal for dinner kind of thing. Like I can't cook, I can't prep food, I can't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
People tell me like, go take a hot shower or a nice hot bath. And I'm like, I don't have the energy to get in the bath and dry off and get dressed again and go through doing all of that.
Yeah. I can usually get into the bath. Out's the problem.
Yeah. My bathtub is too wide for a bar. I had a bathtub bar at my old place and I moved into this apartment that's been renovated and the ledge of the bathtub is super wide. And my bathtub bar didn't fit on it. So I gave it to someone else who needed it. And I've been shopping around trying to find one that fits and I can't find anything. So yeah, once I get in the bathtub, I just use the spout and pull on it and just hope I don't break it to pull myself out.
I can usually get up a little bit and then I've rolled out of my bathtub. And then pull myself up from the floor just because I'm just done. The heat drains all my energy.
Yeah.
But it still feels good. So you do art. Did you do the painting behind you? Because it's really pretty.
Oh, yeah, that one there. Yeah.
That's really nice.
I do mostly art tutorials on YouTube. Follow a couple of artists on there. And
that's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm hopeless at painting, but I like doing it sometimes.
One of my favorite hobbies is knitting, and it's too painful for me now. Like it just hurts so much. Which I used to do tons and tons of knitting, and now I can't.
Yeah, I tried knitting once, and I think I did it for 10 minutes before my hands cramped.
Yeah.
I know I like woodworking and I can't do it as much as I used to now because I like to make like little intricate things and they have to be hand sanded and
Yeah.
it's way too much. So do you get the like heavy arms and like weak limbs and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff when you do repetitive tasks?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No,
And I
that
get like muscle pain. Yeah.
awful. Okay, so you said you take gabapentin. Do you
Yeah.
take any and antidepressants? Anything else, or just?
I don't take
Oh,
antidepressants. I take
sorry. For
psychotic.
things for your mental health. Got it.
Yeah. I'm
Sorry.
on 2 antipsychotics, a mood stabilizer, and a benzodiazepine. Because I have bipolar disorder, I can't take antidepressants because they make me manic, which is just like, it's very common for people with bipolar disorder to go into mania from SSRIs or SNRIs. So I have tried them and I feel really like I hate being on all this medication, but yeah, gabapentin, I take 900 milligrams a day. It makes me very tired. So I find I end up drinking a bunch of caffeine and then get more anxiety because of the caffeine. So
Yeah, it's never just you never just get a good thing.
yeah,
It'll work, but there's all this other stuff that comes with it. And
side effects. Yeah.
it's and you got to weigh the good with the bad sometimes and deal with what
Yeah.
you can. So you said you don't work, correct?
No, I don't. I'm on disability.
Same. I
Yeah.
have a couple little side hustles, but
Yeah.
and have you been on disability for a while?
Yeah. Almost 11 years.
Okay. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost the exact same for me.
Yeah.
Um, and you had said that you were, sorry, I'm just scrolling through all my stuff that I wrote.
Yeah.
You had said that you had talked to the BC Disability about accessibility and stuff like that.
Oh,
Tell me
yeah.
a bit about that.
So I had an interview with someone from the BC Disability Caucus, and we talked about accessibility mostly in my particular community. So I'm in Esquimalt, which is just part of Victoria, like a small community. I'm close to downtown. But things like, so he was asking, like, do I access the parks and recreation here? Which I do. I love going to the pool for the hot tub and the sauna because that's so great for pain. But it costs like, I don't know how much it costs, but I'm on disability, which is like $1,400 a month. So being able to afford to go on a regular basis is not accessible to me. And then I have to walk there and I have to walk home after, right? Like I'm going to like relax and have some pain relief, but then getting out of the pool, getting myself dressed, getting myself home is a whole big ordeal for me. Like it's not always feasible. The grocery stores in my community, there's only 2 grocery stores close to me. They're very expensive compared to like, say, going to Walmart, which I would have to bus home or take a cab, depending on how much stuff I have, or find a friend to give me a ride and give them gas money. Costco is like an hour bus ride for me, things like that. So like affordable groceries aren't really accessible in my community unless there's sales at the grocery store. I live near like a specialty organic food store where like everything costs $1 or $2 or $3 more. And oftentimes I find myself running there because it's on the corner by my house, right? So it's easy to go there, but it's just so much more expensive. And we just basically talked about stuff like that in the community. One good thing about the community I live in is that the buses do run straight to uptown and downtown. So uptown is where we have Walmart, and downtown, there aren't really any grocery stores downtown or anything, but there's, a lot of like, there's a dollar store, Dollarama, stuff like that. So
Do you guys have like we have a handy darts here that you can like order if you're planning on going, if you know you're going to go, you can schedule one and use it. Do you guys
have that? I haven't accessed it. And that was something I haven't looked into yet. I did look into home support and they told me I would have to pay for it. So I was like, again, like I can't afford to have someone, like I know people on disability who get home support that they don't pay for. I'm like, why would I have to pay for it? I don't understand. So again, that's something that's not accessible to me. There is a food kitchen nearby me that does breakfast and lunch, but I have a lot of food allergies, so I can't always access that either. They have like a bread cupboard though, where I can get like bread and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so frustrating. Are you too far? Like, do they do grocery deliveries anywhere? Because I know when I found out that Walmart delivered, it made a huge difference because it's.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know if they deliver to my community. I usually just get someone to go with me, find a ride, take the bus, take my little cart to get groceries.
Yeah, because when we first moved up here, they didn't deliver to our area. And then they started to about 6 months ago, because we were having to go to, it's not like a specialty store or anything, but we were going to Save on Foods, which is just, it's more expensive. And especially now with grocery prices, I love getting food delivered.
Yeah.
From groceries, because like even when I feel good, sometimes I'll go to the store and I'll get halfway through shopping and I'll start getting the hot flashes and I get tired and weak and I'm like, shit, I'm done, but I have to finish this. We need food, and it's super frustrating. So you said you had some dietary restrictions?
Yeah, I have some food allergies and then just like food sensitivities as well.
Okay, and how does that affect your chronic illness?
Well, I used to be really underweight. I was about 105 pounds and I'm 5'6", for quite a few years because I just wasn't eating properly. Because I was like having anxiety around food, because I was like, I have like a soy allergy, for instance, a legume allergy, a tomato allergy. Like these are like really common things, right? So I was like making all my own food from scratch and like really stressed out about what I could eat. And now, like since I've been on medication, I have less anxiety around food. So I find that I eat more, and I actually gained some weight, which I feel better. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like when I was like, I probably was malnourished before, right?
Oh, for sure.
Like, and I was so like anemic, which I'm not anymore.
Well,
I think
good.
because I eat properly. So that was something that was another thing that impacted my doctor. Was like, oh, well, you're depressed and you're anemic. That's probably causing your pain, right? And I was like,
yeah, any excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I have a spine injury and I got told for years that, oh, it's just your spine. I'm like, I get that, being in pain all the time affects everything, but it's it's more like, your body. We know our bodies. Doctors really frustrate me.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't know what is it like on the island? Can you get access to healthcare like readily, or is there super long waiting lists for stuff?
So in Victoria, a whole bunch of, I don't know how many, but several walk-in clinics closed recently. And if you don't get there right at 8:30 in the morning, you can't get into urgent care. And the one time I did try to get into urgent care when they had a spot, they said, we don't have a doctor here today, only a nurse practitioner, and she can't write prescriptions. And I had a UTI, so I had to go to the hospital for a UTI.
Oh my gosh.
Which is ridiculous. And getting Babylon appointments, sometimes I get them the next day, sometimes it's 3 weeks out. Like it just really varies. So because I have mental health issues, Island Sexual Health said they would take me on as a patient, but it was like a 2 or 3 month wait. So I'm on a wait list with them, and they said that they would provide me with a GP. So other than that, like if I didn't have any mental health issues, they wouldn't be taking me on as a patient.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think most of the province is like that, unless you're in like some tiny town that happens to have a doctor there.
Yeah.
It's so hard to access healthcare.
I did get lucky that I have a rheumatologist and he sees me on a regular basis. We did get into it when I asked him about pain management, because he felt like I was drug seeking. And he's like, I'm not going to give you anything for your pain except for the gabapentin. And he wanted to put me on methotrexate for my joint pain, which I refused. I was like, I'd rather have the pain than be on a scary medication like that, because it's a cancer medication. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
I haven't, no.
You take it once a week, and you're supposed to make sure you have nothing to do for the next 24 hours because it can make you really sick, like flu-like sick. And he was like, take some cold and flu medication when you take it, but I can't take cold and flu medication because it interacts with my other medications. And I just read up on it, and I was like, this medication just freaks me out. So I just decided not to take it. So we kind of argued about it a bit, but now he's okay with me just taking the gabapentin. And I have a psychiatrist. So I'm just kind of grateful for that, like that I have those two specialists, even though I don't have a GP right now.
Yeah, it's good to have something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I've been waiting for a rheumatologist for 9 months.
Yeah.
So far, maybe one day I'll get
I
it.
waited a long time to get in.
Yeah, and I think it's going to end up being like in Vancouver, which is an hour and a half away from me, just to get in. And I asked my doctor if she could send just like a bunch of different ones out to like everyone. They're like, no, we're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Like,
when I originally got referred to a rheumatologist, I was living in Nanaimo, which is 2 hours away from me. And none of the doctors in Nanaimo would take a fibromyalgia patient. And I had to come down to Victoria, which was a 2-hour drive. So to get my diagnosis.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're Canadian, you get it. I talk to so many Americans who are just like, universal healthcare is amazing. You guys are so lucky. And I'm like,
yeah.
Like, it is. It's awesome that we have access without having to pay. We can go to the hospital and have a baby without having to fork out thousands of dollars. But there's so much that isn't covered. And there's so much that because it's just readily available, we have to wait years to access it.
Yeah.
And like, if you don't, like, I should have asked for a rheumatologist appointment years ago when I got my fibromyalgia diagnosis from my doctor.
Yeah.
But she said I didn't need one then. But now there's other things going on. And she's like, oh yeah, no, we can do that now. Like,
yeah.
Great. So are you, like, do you, oh my gosh, sorry, I totally lost my train of thought for a sec.
That's okay.
Are you like super affected by heat and the cold, or which one's worse for you?
So cold is definitely worse. When the fall kind of kicked in, like around November, I think I started waking up with really bad pain every morning and really struggling. I'm not sure when I went on gabapentin. It's been fairly recent, like just 2 or 3 months. So I was really struggling with pain, and summer is definitely better. I used to hate summer because I hate the hot weather, but I find that it's great for pain because I have way less pain in the summer months, like especially July and August. And I have more energy because I have less pain. So yeah, getting into spring, I'm kind of looking forward to, hopefully, I mean, with the gabapentin mixed in as well, having even less pain, because gabapentin doesn't completely get rid of the pain. And they talked about doubling up my evening and morning dose. And I'm like, I just don't think I could handle that, like just with how fatigued it makes me.
Yeah, the person I talked to yesterday was on 1800 milligrams, and she's starting to wean off, but that seems like so much. I think
it is. Yeah.
I think I went up to 900 when I was on it.
That's what I'm on right now. Yeah.
And it seems pretty standard.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the same with the heat. The weather changing has already made a huge difference. And
yeah,
like I don't know about you, I spend like October until the end of March with just cold constantly. Like my bones feel cold, everything. And it really starts to weigh on you.
Yeah, I'm cold, I'm like wearing a hoodie and I wear like thermal shirts all the time and like wool socks and wool leggings and yeah.
Yeah, we got cold a couple days ago, so I turned my heater back on. We had it off, and now it's boiling hot in my house because I forgot to turn it off when it got back up to like 15 yesterday. So it's actually really warm in here. My husband is going to hate it when he gets home, but I love it. It feels
Yeah.
nice. This is not the easy. Oh, I knocked my microphone. Sorry. Not the easiest question, but has your chronic illness brought anything good to your life?
That's an interesting question. I honestly don't know. I don't know if I can answer that.
Yeah, it's some people can, some people can't.
I can't really think of how it could have brought anything good into my life. I mean, there's things like my boyfriend, for instance, when he stays over with me, he like helps me get to bed and does nice things like that, but brings me like dinner in bed or whatever. But I mean, I would prefer to not have that illness that makes someone have to do stuff like that for me.
Yeah.
So no, I can't right now think of anything off the top of my head.
Okay. I know, like, I'm thankful that I got to be a stay-at-home mom with my kids, even though I was a single parent,
Right.
which was nice. Even if I felt like crap all the time, I didn't have to try to figure out how to work and feel like crap.
Say the same thing. Yeah. I like that I got to stay home with my daughter.
Yeah, it's like, again, not good circumstances, would have rather have not have had to do that, but
yeah.
it was good. I don't ever want to be just depressed. I am depressed. I'm on antidepressants, but I don't want to ever be that person that's just, my life sucks. Everything about it sucks. And
yeah,
we want to try to bring a little positivity to it, because what's the point otherwise? We're stuck with it. There's no cure. Maybe there will be one day. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe in our lifetime. That would be rad. But if there's not, I don't want to spend the rest of my life just being mad about something I can't control.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I am mad about it, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But okay. I totally lost track of where I was again. So what advice would you have for anyone that's just newly diagnosed with fibro or something like that?
Not to be hard on themselves. And if you need to rest, take the rest. I was just saying to my daughter this morning, it's okay if you can't go to school. It's okay if you need to rest. It's okay to just take care of yourself. And sometimes you just need to play video games all day or watch Netflix or, stay in bed, stay in your pajamas. It's totally fine. Do what you can when you can.
Yeah, mental health days are awesome. And
yeah,
I'm so glad that so many people are getting more on that page. Because when I was a kid, if I wanted to stay home from school because I was overwhelmed, no way.
Yeah,
that was not a thing. And oh my gosh. Okay. What is something that you wish that you knew early on when you were in the process of being diagnosed?
I wish I knew to sort of more advocate a little bit harder to get into a rheumatologist sooner. I wish I'd known more about the different medications that were available, so that I could have asked to try them, because all I was offered was amitriptyline and nortriptyline by my GP. And I've tried Lyrica, Cymbalta, cyclobenzaprine, because there was a list that the rheumatologist gave my doctor of medications to try, and we went through the list until we found something that worked.
Yes, I have cyclobenzaprine. They make me sleep like 14 hours.
Yeah.
And which sucked because they made my muscles feel better.
Yeah.
But I have 4 kids. I can't sleep for 14 hours ever.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the best. And just last thing, what would you like to tell caregivers out there who have people in their lives or just loved ones with chronic illnesses or fibromyalgia that you think would help them out?
To be patient and kind, and things like I asked for help with my laundry and I was told you don't need to do laundry. And it's like, if someone asks for help and you're physically and mentally able to do it, do it. Like, it means so much to me to have someone like do my dishes or take out my garbage or help me with my laundry. And it was actually my boyfriend who I asked to help do my laundry. And he's like, you don't need to do the laundry. And I'm like, yes, I do. And like, it's really hard because I live in an apartment and I have to go all the way down to the basement and I have to go up and down and up and down. And it's a pain in the butt. And it would be nice if when I ask for help, if you're able to just do it and to be patient with the people in your life who are ill.
That's such an awesome answer. Because I think most people have asked for help and just been completely rejected. And that makes me just shut down. I won't ask for help anymore.
Yeah. That's another thing, just like that it's important to be able to ask for help when you need it. And sometimes we are going to get no's and that's okay. But just to be okay with asking for help, I think that's really important.
Absolutely. You have your head shaved. Is that because of chronic illnesses or just because it looks cool? Because it does look cool.
I have really curly hair and I already had the side shaved for the last few years and my hair was coming in really frizzy and it's like probably because of the gray hair, I think. And I went to a curl specialist a couple of times and she cut my hair so that it would, look nicer because it was just a big frizzy mess. And I was like trying to take care of my hair and like washing it and like having to dry it after and take care of it. And I finally just said to my boyfriend, I just shave my head. I can't deal with my hair anymore. Like it was just too much work. I personally don't like how I look with my head shaved. I just like how it feels. Like I like not having hair. I shave my head every couple of weeks to keep it down. I just couldn't deal with it anymore.
I hear you. I'm trying to grow mine back out right now, but I've had it shaved for over a year. And again, same thing, really curly hair with the scrunching and trying to, because you have to do so much to make it look nice or else it just goes pff. Yeah. And I don't know. This is the third time I've tried growing it out. And again, I can get it to like an inch and a half. And then I'm like, nope. And I shave it off again. So I don't know. I don't like the way it looks when it's growing back.
Right.
I'm okay. Like it feels great when it's shaved. I like that. And I like it the way it looks when it's long.
Yeah.
But like this, I don't know what to do with this. It just exists. But
I think it's good.
Yeah. I keep shaving like bits of it here and there on the sides and stuff. And I never like it. And but who knows? I like the way you look with your head shaved. I think you look great. I just really want to thank you for doing this with me today. I really appreciate it. I'm all done.
Okay.
And that was the end of that interview. Until Catherine contacted me again a day later saying that there was something she really wanted to talk about but had forgotten to. And we are nothing if not accommodating because we want to know as much as we can about everybody and their experience. So, without further ado, here's the rest of the... Okay. Whew. So we had talked the other day and there was something that you had wanted to add about medical gaslighting, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay.
So I met my new psychiatrist last week and it was an hour-long appointment, which I've never had with a psychiatrist before. He's doing he's going to be doing half-hour sessions with me. Usually I only get like 10 minutes. So everything seemed fairly normal, like just discussing my meds and stuff. But he brought up like, my childhood and any trauma I have. And he asked what other things I'd been diagnosed with. And I said arthritis and fibromyalgia. And he just said, of course you have. And I honestly, I still don't know how to take that. I didn't know how to take it. And he said a lot of patients who have fibromyalgia have a history of trauma. So over the weekend, I watched Gabor Mate, I think that's how you say his name, film, The Wisdom of Trauma. And he talks about like addictions and mental health issues and how it stems from trauma-based childhoods. So I don't know if the psychiatrist was just being, like, this is just how it is, or if he was being a jerk. And like, of course you have been diagnosed with that. Like, I didn't know how to take it at all.
I wouldn't either, because I know that I've talked to doctors who are just like, yeah, they just diagnose people with it.
Yeah.
If there's nothing else. I'm like, but like, we have something.
Yeah.
And like, if that's what they're doing, if they are just diagnosing people with fibromyalgia because they are too tired of looking to figure out what it actually is, that's a huge problem too.
Yeah.
Which is incredibly frustrating. I'm really sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to add that in because I had forgotten about it. And I just felt like it was important to talk about, because I have found that there are like professionals who don't believe that it's a real diagnosis, like it's not a real illness. So just hearing a doctor say like, oh, of course you have, like, and he said it very deadpan, and I've been diagnosed as being on the spectrum, the autism spectrum. So like I couldn't even look at him when I was talking to him, and I was very uncomfortable after he said that, and felt invalidated. Because he wasn't like, oh, yes, I'm sorry you were diagnosed with that or whatever. He was just like,
Of course you were.
Yeah, it just really sticks out in my head. That's like the only thing that sticks out in my head from the whole appointment. So
yeah, it's awful to hear stuff like that from someone that's supposed to be supporting your mental health. And that mug is amazing, by the way. Her mug says it was a bag of dicks.
It was a gift from my daughter's girlfriend, and it's the only mug I'll drink out of now. So.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, well, did you have anything else that you wanted to add while we're here?
No, that was all. I just wanted to talk about that. So
okay, yeah, you're absolutely right. That is super important. I think it happens to all of us way too often.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you have an amazing day. Thanks for hanging out with me again.
Yeah, thanks for letting me add that in.
Yeah, no problem. And that's all for today. I really want to thank Catherine for being willing to come on and talk to me. I would like to thank my husband for helping me produce, because I am terrible at this. And I would like to thank my kids and animals for actually being quiet for most of it. If coming on the podcast is something that you would be interested in, please email me at chronicallyjillpodcast@gmail.com and tell me a bit of your story, and hopefully we'll be able to get you on. I would love to talk to many, many different people. It doesn't matter if you're a sufferer, if you're a caregiver, I would love to have you on to tell your story. The more perspectives that we can get, the more understanding about all of these conditions we can bring to other people. And once more, this is an independent podcast. Any support that you give is amazing and very much appreciated, whether it's just listening or sharing or going to Patreon or Acast and supporting us for as little as $2 a month. Thank you so, so much for listening. I hope you all are having an amazing day. Lots of love and gentle hugs.